Hello, Paul here, and I get the exciting opportunity to show you the latest updates we have for Creative Cloud June 2016 release, how it removes the friction from your workflow, show you some new features, really exciting. And actually, I'm going to start out in InDesign. I could be in any app because, quite frankly, I'm starting with Creative Cloud libraries, right? This really removes the friction from my workflow. We can see number of assets that I have in here. This is great. I can dive in and I can search different libraries as these libraries have gotten pretty robust. Maybe one images that I've licensed, I can find those. Or I can search Adobe Stock. So there's no need to break my workflow to go to a browser to search on something. I can literally just type in like nature, right? It's going to load in all of those images like photos, illustrations, vectors. Oh, I don't know. Let's expand this out. Let's get this gorgeous sort of full screen view as large as I want it. And this is what I want to see. I want to be able to see these images from within the app that I'm working in. So I can dive in. I can find, again, just that gorgeous image that I want to work with. There's way too many gorgeous images in here. Let's go with this one right here because I just want to sync or save a preview right to this library. And sure, I could license it, but I'm going to save a preview right now. That's what's happening. It's being synced. I can take this image. Let's bring it in. Let's drop it in right in here. Something like that, as you can see. And I can expand this out. Do whatever changes that I want to it, by the way, right? I like that. I think that looks pretty good, right? I might do one more quick change. Let's just change this to maybe a hard light to kind of get some of that blue tint. But as I've made those changes, again, if I decide I want to license this image, I don't have to break my workflow, go to the browser, find the image, download it, whatever the case may be. And imagine if you have a lot of these images that you need to license. Hey, I want to license it. Do it directly in the app, this sort of one-click workflow. Let's use one of my image credits, one of my licenses directly, done and done. Not breaking my workflow. It's going to sync that image. It's going to apply any effects, anything that I have done to this image. That's what it's going to do there, and you can see it syncing over here, just like I've done with some of these other images. And again, you can see that it's licensed. Yes, I can use this image as well, dropping it right in there. And again, that looks gorgeous, and we'll see this sync in a second. And this is what you'd end up with, is you'd end up with a style guide that you could share with others that's going to have your sort of full res gorgeous images, right? I want to share this with the other designers, you know? In fact, I can share this with, the boss or the client, whatever. So let me just show you. Collaborate. Collaborate's not new. I'll show you what is new are permissions with those libraries. Because I can give people the ability to edit. So I can say John at Adobe. Don't know who has that email. It better be John Warnock that has that email. But of course I'm going to give him editing rights, right? I mean, heck yeah. But I can just give him also viewing rights. So if it is, say, the client or the manager or whoever, they might just want the ability to view. Others can have the ability to edit. And this is really powerful. You do that, you invite them, right? And you have that sort of control when it comes to this. And in this case, I'll just remove that invitation because I don't want to clutter his inbox in this specific scenario. But let's go beyond this because that's collaboration. I want to jump out to the web browser. Okay, so I'm just going to show you also what's on Adobe Stock. We saw that one-click workflow, which is fantastic. Okay, and in fact, what I can also do is I can search on nature, say in Adobe Stock, or could be anything. Notice how I can see a number of images right in here. And what I want to do, actually, this is the one that I've licensed. So it knows that I've licensed images, so I'm not like maybe purchasing it again or who knows what. But even as I start to take a look at some of these other images, look at what else I can do. I can, download it. I can download it to my library. I can open it up directly in Illustrator, for instance, or After Effects. And this could be video, could be anything. Look what's happening. Again, imagine I'm just starting out. I know I want that in Illustrator. Just put it in Illustrator, right? Just boom, there it is. Just put it in Illustrator while I drink my coffee, because it knows, removing that friction, being able to work with this image, launching the app that you need, and you're well on your way. Super powerful. Again, removing that friction, which is awesome. Let me go back out to the homepage here and just show you that we have even more aside from those, 55 plus million images. Premium collection, brand new in stock, in Adobe Stock. We have over 100,000 premium images, working with some of inspiring artists and great photographers for that exclusive image that you might want to use, the really compelling image. You have access to that for your special project. So I encourage you to check that out. That's really powerful. All right. So let's move on. So obviously, this could be shared, share it with others. I could use these assets in other apps as well. So again, you haven't seen my desktop. Don't need to worry about going out there because it's all in my library and I can start to work with these assets here. But I'm going to show you some Photoshop features. Obviously, I have this issue with this image, right? I'm not trying to create drama by making it slanted. I want it to be straight. So I'm going to open up this Iceland image, okay? So I didn't do a good job, right? It's crooked. Not going to work out. So what do you do as a designer or a photographer? You bust out the crop tool. You're like, okay, I'm going to crop this, right? I'm going to crop it like that. And what happens is you're losing important data on all sides, right? Which is some of that image. Or what you have to do is you expand it out to get more of that data, and then you have to go in and rubber stamp or use content aware to fill in those areas. We're like, hey, we know what you're trying to do. Let's just content aware fill that for you, right? Checking that box. Oh, I think I'm going to take another drink of my coffee. Done and done. And then again, I can apply that, to anywhere I want to use it. So again, really cool, sort of anticipating what you're trying to do. It's aware of the pixels, right, around the image. That's what we're trying to do. It's just like being aware of that content. Even in the case of these two fine campers right here. For this image, in fact, what I want to do is I want to liquefy it, to just change it. But rather than just pushing around pixels indiscriminately, actually, let's get out of that. Let's double click here. Rather than pushing around pixels indiscriminately, I can use Liquefy and check this out because I just need to modify their faces. And look, we actually have the ability to recognize their faces in the photo, right? I'll zoom in on this because this guy, well, just notice that I can edit his head. I could maybe make it look like, I don't know, that they've been camping for a couple days and maybe he's lost some weight, right? But I have that sort of control. It recognizes those pixels. If I want to act like, okay, he should be more enthused about what they're cooking, I can give him a little bit more smile, which is what I want for this campaign. But recognizing those pixels, being able to adjust that content, even over here off to the side if I'm curious, and it does that for multiple faces. You get the idea. This facial recognition in Photoshop, this face aware technology, fantastic. I'll just click cancel in this case because I want to move on as I'm starting to build out this site. And this is the last sort of feature I'll cover. This is actually really cool. We snuck this at Max last year, right? And this is what happens. You'll stumble upon an asset. You're like, oh, I love that font. I want that font. What font is it, right? That's what you want to know. What these fonts are for this flattened JPEG. Or somebody has given you a JPEG and they're like, hey, you got to recreate this. Use the correct font. Trust me, that happens. You're like, okay, what font is it? Well, we can tell what font it is. Type match font. Let's match that fancy font. All it says is say, hey, you know what? Just draw a box around it. This first one's going to be pretty simple because it obviously is like a, Helvetica of sorts. And sure enough, it shows me the fonts that I have on my system and then gives me the ones available on Typekit in case I don't have them on my system. So it kind of recognizes them as Arial bold, and you can see I can actually sync that font directly just like that. Let's go beyond that. I'm going to move this down, loosely selecting this text. It's not even that tight, but they do say, you know what, try to get it kind of tightly around the font like that. and you can see we do exclude Comic Sans. Just kidding, that's a joke. But you can see all my fonts that are available on my desktop and the ones that are available on Typekit. So I can say, hey, you know what, Kinescope is really cool. Yeah, let's go with Kinescope. Selecting that, it's going to sync it directly. I didn't have to worry about going to my downloads. You'll never see my downloads folder, and I can use Kinescope. All I have to do is remember how to spell it, right? And that's the hardest part, is go in there, you know, for this text, type in K-N-E, Kinescope, regular, boom, done and done. If I'm curious about that font and I want to find similar fonts, I can check out similar fonts to Kinescope, right? And it actually gives me similar fonts on Typekit to Kinescope as well. So just showing you that, really powerful what you can do, and it's huge when it comes to fonts, using them. And yeah, so much more I didn't get a chance to talk to, sort of your selection capabilities in Photoshop, Illustrator, you know, exporting assets, all that good stuff. But that's all I got time for. So thanks so much for watching.